Hello everyone, welcome back to the Auto UK. So, here's something you don't see every day, a tricycle that doubles as a camper, and not just any tricycle. This is the 2026 Dokker Camper Tricycle, and it's about to turn some serious heads in the micro camper and three-wheeler communities. It's compact, efficient, and surprisingly well equipped, and today, we're diving into what makes this tiny house on three wheels so unique. Now, if you're not familiar with the Dokker brand, it's typically associated with budget-friendly, practical vans, mainly under the Dacia name in Europe. But in 2026, the brand has taken a wild left turn, combining its utilitarian roots with the growing demand for ultra-compact, sustainable travel solutions. The result? A three-wheeled micro-camper that's as quirky as it is clever. Let's start with the design. From the outside, the Dokker Camper Tricycle is unexpected. Imagine a cross between a Piaggio Ape and a mini RV, with the front end resembling a compact delivery scooter and the rear built out into a cozy camper pod. It sits on two rear wheels for stability and a single front wheel for steering, which gives it a sort of reverse trike configuration. And yes, it looks a bit odd at first, but you can't help but appreciate its charm once you see it in motion. It's small, really small. The whole thing measures just under 3.5 meters long and barely 1.5 meters wide, making it narrow enough to navigate tight European city streets and snug country lanes without breaking a sweat. Despite the tiny footprint, the rear pod is surprisingly spacious. More on that in a bit. Underneath, the tricycle is powered by a fully electric motor, which is part of its eco-friendly appeal. The 2026 model uses a 20 kilowatt-hour battery pack, giving it a real-world range of about 120 miles per charge. Not earth-shattering, but for local road trips, festival weekends, or off-grid camping in the countryside, it's more than enough. Plus, it charges fully in just 4 hours with a standard wall socket and under 2 hours on a fast charger. That means you can pull into a cafe for lunch and leave with enough juice for the next leg of your journey. It's not built for speed. Top speed is around 60 miles per hour, but honestly, this isn't about rushing. The Dokker Trike is for people who want to slow down and enjoy the ride. It's about winding through national parks, camping beside rivers, and waking up to birdsong instead of traffic noise. And here's where things get really interesting, the camper pod. Open the rear hatch and you're greeted with a genuinely impressive use of space. The interior is modular, customizable, and, dare I say, comfortable. There's a fold-out single bed that converts into a mini sofa, a pull-out kitchenette with a single-burner induction hob, a small sink with a water tank and pump system, and even a mini fridge. Above the bed is storage for clothes and essentials, and underneath, there's enough space for a weekend's worth of gear, food, and camping supplies. Dokker has included solar panels on the roof, 100 watts, enough to keep the battery topped up when you're parked for a few days. It won't power long road trips, but it can keep your fridge cold and lights on without draining the main battery, which is a thoughtful touch. Speaking of lights, the interior uses LED strips throughout, with warm white tones to give it a cozy, inviting feel. There's also a pop-up roof option that adds headroom and ventilation, perfect for those who want to stand up while cooking or just need a bit of breathing space. One of the standout features is the integrated work table. It folds down from the side wall and doubles as a desk or dining area. So, if you're a digital nomad, travel blogger, or just want to enjoy a meal with a view, it's a great little spot to settle in. There's even a small 12V socket and USB ports, powered either from the battery or the solar backup, so you can charge your laptop or phone while you work or chill. Let's talk about driving it. Now, obviously, it's not your traditional van or car. Being a trike, the handling is a bit different. There's a bit more lean in the corners, and you do feel the road more than you would in a four-wheeled camper. But once you get used to it, it's actually quite fun. The electric motor gives instant torque, so it zips off the line in city traffic, and the compact size makes parking an absolute breeze. You could literally park this thing sideways in a standard space if you had to. Suspension is surprisingly decent. It's not plush, but thanks to the low weight and clever dampening, it doesn't bounce around like you'd expect. That said, you'll definitely feel potholes more than you would in a larger camper, but for the type of trips this is made for, it's a fair trade-off. Now, who is this actually for? Well, that's where things get really interesting. The Dokker Camper Trike is aimed at a growing niche of solo travelers, eco-conscious explorers, and people who want the camper van experience without the size, cost, or environmental impact of a traditional van. It's ideal for weekend getaways, remote work adventures, or even as a second vehicle that doubles as a mobile escape pod. It's also great for older riders or folks with mobility challenges. Unlike a motorbike-based camper, the Trike has better stability and easier access. You can step into the back with ease, and everything is designed to be within arm's reach: low countertops, reachable storage, and no ladders or high steps. Pricing-wise, the Dokker Camper Tricycle is expected to launch at around £14,000 in the UK. That might sound steep for a three-wheeler, but when you consider it's a fully functioning mini camper with an electric drivetrain and solar capability, it starts to make sense. And when you compare it to even the smallest electric vans or entry-level camper conversions, it's still far more affordable. Running costs are low, too. No road tax, barely any electricity use, and insurance is expected to be classed under light quadricycles or electric mopeds, depending on the final approval by the DVLA. Maintenance: almost none. With just a single motor, no oil changes, and regenerative braking, there's very little that can go wrong mechanically. Let's not forget, too, that there's a certain cool factor here. You're not just driving a vehicle, you're making a statement. This is about rethinking how we travel. Downsizing. Going minimalist. Living out of a vehicle that's smaller than most city cars, but still managing to pack in everything you need for a comfortable weekend in the wild. Of course, there are compromises. This isn't the vehicle for family holidays. There's no bathroom, no shower, and while you could rig a portable toilet and an outdoor shower setup, you're working with very limited space. It's strictly a solo or duo camper, with tight quarters and a minimalist approach. But that's part of the appeal, really. The 2026 Dokker Camper Tricycle is for people who want to live with less. Who enjoy the challenge of making every bit of space count. Who find joy in simplicity. It's not a hotel on wheels. It's more like a glorified tent with power and wheels, and that's kind of beautiful. So where does this leave us? Is it the future of micro-camping? Maybe. As cities get denser, and as we all think more critically about our environmental impact, there's a strong case to be made for small, electric, highly efficient travel solutions like this. It's not for everyone, but for the right person, it's absolutely perfect. And while we're used to seeing innovation come from tech giants or luxury automakers, it's refreshing to see a brand like Dokker, known for practical, no-frills transport, take a risk and create something truly unique. The 2026 Camper Trike might not win any speed races or design awards, but it might just win over a whole new generation of travelers looking for freedom, flexibility, and a lighter footprint. If you're the kind of person who dreams about taking the road less traveled, waking up in the middle of nowhere with a cup of coffee and no one else around, then the Dokker Camper Tricycle might just be your new favorite thing. So, what do you think? Would you take this three-wheeled tiny camper on your next road trip? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Auto UK for more weird, wonderful, and game-changing vehicles from around the world.